starting at 41, and then we'll head over to 2 Chronicles 17, starting in verse 1. And neither one is very long, so I'll read them both, and then we'll get into the study. Now Jehoshaphat, the son of Asa, became king over Judah in the 4th year of Ahab, king of Israel. Jehoshaphat was 35 years old when he became king, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, and the daughter of Shilhi. He walked in all the ways of Asa his father. He did not turn aside from it, doing right in the sight of the Lord. However, the high places were not taken away. The people still sacrificed burnt offerings on the high places. Jehoshaphat also made peace with the king of Israel. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat and his might, which he showed on how he warred, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? The remnant of the Sodomites who remained in the days of his father Asa, he expelled from the land. Now there was no king in Edom, a deputy king. Jehoshaphat made ships of Tarshish to go to Ophir for gold, but did not go, for the ships were broken at Geber. Then Azariah, the son of Ahab, said to Jehoshaphat, "Let my servants go with your servants in the ships." But Jehoshaphat was not willing. Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And Jehoram, his son, became king in his place. And then heading over to 2 Chronicles 17, starting in verse 1. Jehoshaphat, his son, then became king in his place and made his position over Israel firm. He placed troops in all the 45 cities of Judah and set garrisons in the land of Judah and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had captured. The Lord was with Jehoshaphat because he followed the example of his father David's earlier days and did not seek the Baals, but sought the God of his father, followed his commandments, and did not act as Israel. So the Lord established the kingdom in his control, and all Judah brought tribute to Jehoshaphat, and he had great riches and honor. He took great pride in the ways of the Lord, and again removed the high places and the Asherim from Judah. Then in the 3rd year of his reign, he sent his officials, and with them Levites, to various towns, with Elisham and Jehoram, the priests. They taught in Judah, having the book of the law of the Lord with them, and they went throughout all the cities of Judah and taught among the people. Now the dread of the Lord was on the kingdoms of the lands which were around Judah, so that they did not make war against Jehoshaphat. Some of the Philistines brought gifts and silver as tributes to Jehoshaphat. The Arabs brought flocks, 7,700 rams, 7,700 male goats. So Jehoshaphat grew greater and greater, and he built fortresses and store cities in Judah. He had large supplies in the cities of Judah and warriors, valiant men in Jerusalem. This was the muster according to their father's household. Of Judah, commander of thousands, Adnah was the commander, and with him was 300,000 valiant warriors. Next to him was Johanan, the commander, with him 280,000. Next to him was Amashiah, who volunteered for the Lord, and with him 200,000 valiant warriors. And of Benjamin, Eliad, a valiant warrior, with him 200,000 armed with bow and shield. And next to him, Jehozabad, and with him 180,000 equipped for war. These are those who served the king, apart from those whom the king put in the fortified cities throughout Judah. So for question 1 tonight, who was Jehoshaphat's father? How old was he when he became king? And how long did he reign? Yeah. So, yes, he was the son of Asa. Jehoshaphat reigned for 35 years. And he was Jehoshaphat was 35 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 25 years. Now, it is possible that Jehoshaphat was a co-regent who ruled with Asa during Asa's illness. He got a diseased feet that were very painful, and so he may have helped out Asa, King Asa, his father. Jehoshaphat walked in the ways of David and his father in his early days, and he did not allow Israel to intimidate or influence him. Who did he expel from the land? Well, there was a remnant of Sodomites living in Judah. Now, sodomite here refers to those who engage in same-sex activities. Now, that type of activity was explicitly prohibited in Leviticus 18:22, which states, "You shall not lie with a male as one lies with a female." Question 3, what is implied in 1 Kings 22:44? Yes, Jehoshaphat made peace with the king of Israel. So Jehoshaphat and King Ahab, they made a peace treaty. Now, back then, to cement a treaty, the kings often had their children marry into the other king's family. Here, Jehoshaphat's son, Jehoram, married Ahab's daughter, Athaliah. But the biggest problem with that is that Ahab's wife, Athaliah's mother, was Queen Jezebel, and she followed the religion of foreign gods, which would later on cause a problem for Judah. Question 4. From Kings 1 Kings 22:48, what was a ship of Tarshish, and what was significant about it? Correct. Large ship of Tarshish is referenced as a large-going cargo ship that could sail to faraway lands. These ships were being built in Ezion-Geber, which is located, we mentioned this last week or the week before, this location. It's Edom, way down south, where the Red Sea would peak up. And King Solomon had Tarshish ships built there as well. And his ships, the main purpose was to sail and bring back gold and silver. And Jehoshaphat had an idea of doing the same. Okay. Question 5. What sort of steps towards security for Judah did Jehoshaphat take in 2 Chronicles 17:1 and 2? Yeah. He placed soldiers in all the fortified cities of Judah and set garrisons, military posts around Judah and in the cities of Ephraim. He built up Judah's defenses against the probability of an attack by Israel. Now, this was not a deterrent to other nations as much as he built up, because it was only after the preaching ministry in all the cities that the surrounding nation had a dreadful fear of Jehoshaphat and Judah. Question 6. Describe Jehoshaphat's spiritual development. There are 4 statements made about him in 2 Chronicles 17:3 and 4. What are they?
The example of his father didn't worship false gods.
Yep. He followed the example of his father David. He did not seek Baal or foreign gods. He sought the God of his father Asa. He followed God's commandments, and he did not act as Israel did. Now, while this was going on with Jehoshaphat, the counterpart Israel, with King Ahab, the kingdom of Israel was adopting Canaanite Baal worship policies and practices. Question 7, in response to Jehoshaphat's loyalty, what did the Lord do in 2 Chronicles 17:5?
Established a kingdom and brought tribute to Jehoshaphat, so he had great riches and honor.
Yep. God established the kingdom of Judah under Jehoshaphat's control. All Judah brought tribute to Jehoshaphat. He had great riches and honor. Because Jehoshaphat trusted and obeyed God, God lifted him up and exalted him as king. Jehoshaphat took delight in the Lord, and the Lord gave him his desires, the desires of his heart. Question 8. Often in a spiritual revival setting, the king has to clean up a mess. What is the mess Jehoshaphat cleans up in 2 Chronicles 17:6? Jehoshaphat took great pride in the ways of the Lord, and again he removed the high places and the Asherim from Judah. Now the high places were not fully removed when Asa was king. Having what we want, great honors, riches, can hinder or distract our following the Lord, and can be a source of worldly pride, worldly security. It seemed, though, to have an opposite effect on Jehoshaphat. The more God gave him, the more he was committed to God. In question 9, unusual in all the history of ancient Judah and Israel, Jehoshaphat institutes what in 2 Chronicles 17:7-9? What does this say about Jehoshaphat's character and priorities? Jehoshaphat sent out Levites and priests, a total of 16, to teach, instruct the law of Moses to the people. Jehoshaphat was a true king. He truly looked out for the people's welfare by reintroducing them to the laws so they would obey it and prosper. Now, this also had a larger effect in the surrounding nations that had a sense of fear that God provided. Now, Judah had a large and well-equipped army, but that could not have had the deterrent that God gave with this fear. Question 10. God's blessing upon Jehoshaphat and Judah kept on expanding. In 2 Chronicles 17:10 and 11, what condition prevailed? Who was singled out for mention, and what did they bring to him?
The fear of the Lord fell over the surrounding kingdoms, and the Philistines brought him gifts and silver,
The condition of a feeling of dread, a psychological state of mind that the Lord had caused to fall upon the kings of the land. Judah's neighbors that could have been thinking about causing them trouble now didn't. Jehoshaphat was not a great soldier like David for other countries to worry about warring with him, nor was he a great scholar like Solomon that other nations admired and respected him. But because of his obedience and commitment to God, God placed this fear in other countries, leaving Judah to live in peace. Now, not only was there peace, but this has a second purpose of also giving time of instruction for the people to be reintroduced to the law so that they could learn it without having to be distracted with fortifying and going to war. Question 11, what did Jehoshaphat build? See, to be in 2 Chronicles 12:17-12. Fortresses and store cities. He also built a workforce, putting people together, giving them a sense of pride and contentment. Quite often when you don't have contentment, you have too many people, not enough to do, that's when gossip starts to happen and problems start. My dad, who was a businessman, he's told me one time he has almost enough employees, but one less. So everybody's always busy and not standing around. Question 12. See if you can tally up the figures for his army in 2 Chronicles 17:14 through 19. How many soldiers could he put in the field? Who were the commanders? And what sources did the warriors come from? Is the quick answer, yes, that's right. The sources were Adnah, the commander. He had 300,000 valiant warriors. Johanan, the commander, 280,000. Amashiah, 200,000. Benjamin Elida, a valiant warrior of 200,000. Jehoshaphat, 180,000, to equal 1,160,000 dedicated, valiant, courageous men of valor that were well equipped and trained. Now, these men came from their fathers' households. Now, large militaries are common in the Old Testament, but for God's people, what good are they if the motives are wrong? Strong just to be strong, strong to be for prideful purposes, strong to be a bully nation. Psalm 33:16 through 19 tells us, the king is not saved by a mighty army. A warrior is not delivered by a great strength. A horse is a false hope for victory, nor does it deliver anyone by its great strength. Behold, the eyes of the Lord is on those who fear him, on those who hope for his love and kindness, to deliver their souls from death and to keep them alive in famine. Our souls wait for the Lord. He is our hope, help, and our shield. So, what would be a good summarization for the character and life story of Jehoshaphat so far? I'll start off. For me, I think, boy, if I could be a tenth of the way he has presented himself so far, he conducted himself, I think I'd be pretty happy. So far, I think he's been a good model to follow. And the way he cared for his people of Judah should be the way we care for each other here in this body.
Very committed.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's tonight's.